The line you're drawing. Very well.
Yes.
Well, we'll get to Krebs and whatever else, but it's been a couple of weeks since you and I have spoken, and I'm building on the premise again still that the Sabres kind of want Connor Hellebuyck. Here we are, July 13th, and there is, whether this is from AI or not, I don't think it entirely is, more speculation about it. And I just feel, Paul, that the Sabres might be trying to wait the Jets out, that the goalie wants to be moved, and the Jets are trying to do the best they can. And it's a poker game between the two teams, if not other teams as well. How do you see it?
Well, there's no question in my mind that Jarmo Kekalainen is not going to pay the price that needs to be paid right now to do it, if he wanted to do it today. If that stays the price, I don't feel it'll be done. And then you have other things that fall into it. Is Winnipeg on Luukkonen's new no trade, which kicked in on July 1st? We don't know. You would think he would be part of the trade if they got Hellebuyck. Norris also was in that situation. He had one kick in on July 1st also. So, I'm very confident in saying the price of Hellebuyck today will not be paid by the Buffalo Sabres. And he has gone out of his way twice now, for whatever his reasons might be, saying that it's a pretty good chance they're going with the three goalies they went with last year. He was happy with them. Really, if you look at, save percentage, the Buffalo Sabres, I believe they were third in the league, if I'm not mistaken, second or third. I believe it was third in the league in save percentage as a group with the three of them. That's not too bad. And they went on a heater from December 9th on, basically till the end of the season, where Luukkonen's save percentage was on top of the league for a lot of that time. So it's not, and you look at the two goalies, Luukkonen was better than Hellebuyck last year. But then you got to say to yourself, was this just a one-year thing for Hellebuyck? Did he just have a bad year? And it's a one-off, and he'll be back to being Hellebuyck again next year. Who knows? None of us know that. None of us can predict that. But I think you're taking an awfully big chance getting a goaltender that had a bad year last year, who in the last 3 years of the playoffs is, let me see if I can remember this, 8-15, I believe, somewhere in there. I think I might be a game or two off, but right there. And goals against almost 4, and a save percentage, I believe, under .870 in the playoffs. So, and one of those years you won the President's Trophy.
Yeah.
Again, now there are examples of guys who did not perform in the playoffs and then all of a sudden did and won Stanley Cups. One just left the Florida Panthers and is now the Toronto Maple Leafs goaltender. He never had any success in the playoffs, and then he did. These are all questions none of us know. Jarmo Kekalainen doesn't know, if he can all of a sudden become a playoff goaltender. If last year was just an outlier and he'll be back to being his old self again next year, or is he slipping? But an $8.5 million bet on your salary cap, to me, is an awfully large price to pay to find out.
Well put. If you were Kekalainen, would you just bail and be like, hey, sorry, guys, this isn't going to work? Would you go that far?
I'm being honest with you. I wouldn't have been in on it to start.
So, yes.
I really don't think goaltending was the Sabres' major problem. At times, I suppose it was. But even in the playoffs, I know both Luukkonen and Lyon got pulled, and they both played very, very well through a lot of the playoffs, too. I will disagree with – I just disagree with it. That last goal was Luukkonen's fault. It dipped on him, and the shooter said so. The puck went up on end. That made it a flutter puck, and the puck dipped. You can see it dip under his glove. I do not blame him at all for that glove.
Paul, you were a hockey player. Doesn't it make you want to ask yourself, shouldn't all shooters wait until the puck turns on end before shooting? Isn't that better? Would that work?
No, it is better. It does work because the puck will do goofy things for you. No question about that. It definitely will do goofy things for you when that happens. Now, you can't really get it to happen. It kind of has to happen naturally for you, for the puck to stand up on end like that. But it's called a flutter puck, and it's a very difficult play for a goaltender. And you can see his glove was right where the puck was going to go, and then it wasn't as the puck dipped. So Yeah, do I blame him for the goal that's scored from the red line? Yes. And I seen Dominik Hasek get scored on from the red line. Not trying to tell you Luukkonen is Dominik Hasek in any way, shape, or form, but I've seen the best there are get scored on from the red line. It happens. It's the only time I've ever seen him get scored on from the red line. It just happened, and you move on.
I think Luukkonen, as I said earlier, is a really pivotal piece of this if there is a negotiation between the teams, because the Sabres can't really trade for Connor Hellebuyck without moving Luukkonen. Like, they just won't need him anymore, and they need cap room if they were to do this. Would he be a player as wild and wacky as goaltending performance is in the league? We've learned that lesson. Is he somebody that if you're Winnipeg, you could sell? Like, this is the Sabres and Hasek a little bit. There are other examples where you're trading your franchise piece because you just don't think you can really make it work anymore. Team results, player needs. Is Luukkonen somebody that if you're Winnipeg, you could sell?
Well, Luukkonen and Skinner, they're your goaltenders. They already have one. They would get the other.
And Skinner's tough.
Yeah,
I mean, he's a tough sell.
Times
to the fan base.
and there's times he's really good, and there are times he's really not. And right now with 2 extra guys on the roster, I have the Sabres at a little over $4.2 million in salary cap, which means they would have to double that if they were going to make this trade.
Yep.
Luukkonen would open up 4.7, so that would have 8.9. Just Luukkonen taking off would open up enough room to do it if you did nothing else. So, and again, is Winnipeg on Luukkonen's no trade? He doesn't have that many clubs that's on his no trade, but and it just kicked in on July 1st. And if Kekalainen really, really wanted to do this deal, and Luukkonen was going to be part of it, he knows if Winnipeg is on that list or not, and he knows that as of July 1st, it will make it. You're going to have to get his permission if you want to make the trade. So, it seems like from a Sabres standpoint, it's kind of dead. But I think maybe part of that reason is because the price has not come down, and in order for it to be rekindled, the price is going to have to come down.
Paul Hamilton on the Westshore Hotline. Well, one other possible leverage piece in this negotiation, again, if there is one, is adding to the Sabres, really, to say, put it mildly, depth at forward, is the settlement with Peyton Krebs today. 4 years at $4.5 million. That's a pretty healthy number. Do the Sabres can you ever have one too many anythings? Like, are they at a point at forward where if they want to deal with Winnipeg, that would have to be where they turn? And might they think that whether it's goaltending or even defense, probably not defense, they're pretty well loaded, is it maybe optimal if they can pull off something they like to move a forward?
They have 5 full lines right now. With 23 players, you're going to have the extra goalie, the extra defenseman, and probably 1 extra forward. So you're looking at getting rid of 2. You can take the easy way out. Now, you're going to have a fan revolt if you do, but Oslet and Helenius do not charge you waivers. They can both go down until there's an injury or something like that. Then Kozak's your extra forward or Danforth, and you're ready to go. That's not what I would do. But they could do that without a problem, and then they would be down to their 23 players. And what kind of injuries are you going to get at training camp? It would be shocking if in the first game these same guys are all healthy that we're talking about right now. So what kind of injuries are going to happen in training camp? Are you going to get 2 injuries where you got 2 guys on the IR? To start the year, that's what you need, is 2 guys on the IR now. Are they still looking at a Kane acquisition to help the power play? That would be why you would do that. A guy who had 2 goals and 17 assists and 19 points on the power play. And then you just ask yourself, would you rather have Quinn or would you rather have Kane in your top 9, so to speak?
Easy call.
Yeah, it is for me.
It is for me, Quinn.
But Quinn did become a 20-goal scorer this past year, and it seemed like as the season went on, he was starting to find the areas to get in, to let that great shot that he has to get it off and get it into the net. So he has not helped the power play. Nothing has really helped the power play. It was middle of the road for a lot of the year. I think he wound up like 18th or 19th. But when you look at it, Lindy Ruff, in his 8 years he was away from the Sabres, his power play was only good once. So it's, when we're talking with the Dallas Stars and with New Jersey, I can actually tell you. He was 4th in the league with Dallas once. With New Jersey, he was 13th twice and 28th twice. The other 3 years in Dallas, he was 12th, 20th, and 23rd. This 2 years in Buffalo, he's 24th and 20th. So Lindy Ruff really has never put together, since he left the first time, and those numbers I haven't looked up yet and plan on it, but has basically run a power play as a coach in the last 10 years that runs around 19%.
That's tough when you have the players they have. I mean, even Peterka 2 seasons ago, right? I mean, just you have shooters, you have playmakers. I want to think there's, like anything with hockey or anything in life, there's some randomness in it, but it'd be nice to be able to flip that next year.